back by popular demand, the Vermont politics update. We've got big week for cannabis politics here in Vermont, one of the biggest in the last few years. We're going to see a lot of issues get worked out. I'm going to give you the breakdown in just a second here. Check out Vermontijuana.com. Make sure you're checking out Ski Can, big music festival we're doing at Magic Mountain in March. It's going to be a great event, a lot of local bands, exhibitors, vendors, private event. Got the mountain all to ourselves. Your ticket includes your ski and snowboard pass. So check that out. It's at skican.com. Make sure you're following Vermontijuana. Now, let's check out vtpoli update. So the first bill that we're tracking is H548. Now this is in the House Judiciary Committee. Those of you who were around during legalization of home grow, remember the House Judiciary Committee spent a lot of time talking about cannabis reform. It's got a lot of well-informed people in there. They're going to have discussions starting Wednesday about this bill. Now this bill has a lot of different things in it. Basically would change a lot of some of the stricter regulations, doing things like removing the concentrate cap of 60%, allowing for Delta 8. The way that it's worded is kind of tricky, cannabidiol from hemp, right? So Delta 8, allowing employees to have ID cards based on your employee as an individual instead of your employer, right? So you can change jobs more easily within the industry. Getting rid of the 50 milligram per package requirement. That's something that is on there right now. Not allowing extraction with butane or hexane. So it would prohibit butane and hexane extraction specifically. Doesn't say anything about other kinds of solvents, but that's something that's important. And it would also place some limits on how the integrated licensees can move their plants from their integrated license into the adult use market. So it would have some regulation on that too. That's H548. All right, the next bill that we're seriously tracking is S188. This is in the Senate Agricultural Committee, and this would treat small cannabis cultivation as farming. I want to give props to the Vermont Growers Association and Rural Vermont, who have been doing a lot of the work to make this bill move and keep this issue alive, because whether small cannabis cultivation or any size cannabis cultivation is defined as farming has a big implication. It's a big deal for your taxes, for the way that you're zoned, for the requirements, agricultural practices, how you treat your wastewater, all these sort of things. So right now it's in the Senate. It would have to also go to the House. It's been a big issue because people don't want to give cannabis the same benefits that they give conventional farming, but farmers also have a lot of challenges with sort of having to rezone land in towns that don't have zoning maybe. So this is something that we're following, S188. All right, the last bill, and possibly the most important bill that we're following, has to do with tax money and how it is split up. Right now, the way that the bill stands in Vermont is that there's a 14% excise tax and a 6% sales tax. So that 14% excise tax right now, 0% of that goes to a town that hosts the retail business. And as you'll recall, in Vermont, towns have to positively opt in and say yes to retail. Shout out, there are a lot of towns who have been doing this lately, but one of the big questions for towns is, do we get any of the tax money? Right now, the answer is no, you do not, unless you're a town that has something called a local option tax. That's basically a 1% sales tax on everything that's sold in your town. So about 20 towns in Vermont have this, you know, places like Manchester where you have a lot of retail, ski towns, Chittenden County and Burlington, but not a lot of towns have it. And right now, if your town doesn't have a local option tax, you're not going to get any tax money directly from cannabis. The only thing your town could do would be to change the amount of money that it costs to get a license for retail, but they're not going to do that. So how do towns get some of the sales tax from cannabis that's sold in their town? This is a big question because on town meeting day, we have a lot of towns in Vermont that are going to vote and say, should we do this, yes or no? Now, in the Senate Finance Committee, this is chaired by Senator Jeanette White, very familiar with cannabis and these issues. There's a proposal in which 4% of that 14% would go directly to the municipal government that hosts the retail business. So if you sell cannabis in your town legally, your town gets a cut of the percentage. Now 4% is really high. I know Vermont League of Cities and Towns would love that. Towns would love to get that much of it. But the state's going to want to keep a bunch of that, put it in the education fund and the general fund, divvy it up how they want. So this question of, do towns get money for hosting a cannabis retail business? That is still undecided. If things went forward with the status quo right now, towns would not get any cannabis taxes. You know, they'd get their 1% sales tax if they have a local option, but otherwise, no cannabis tax money. 4% seems pretty high, but this is a really important issue going forward, and one that we're going to see probably this LCAR group wrestle with a lot. I would not be surprised to see 1 or 2% come down the line. We know we have towns like Hardwick who are thinking about this for town meeting day. If they're not getting a piece of that tax, if Irisburg doesn't get a piece of this tax, why would they host the retail business? So, big issue going forward, a big issue for folks on the ground wondering if, how, when, where this is going to be sold legally. S152 is the bill we're tracking right now. All right, that's it for the week. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Check out Vermontijuana events. We're going to post more about the events on there as we continue to go forward with this, put out more news, more content, try to do a political update once a week. We want to keep people informed. A reminder, I am a registered lobbyist. I am independent, work for myself. I don't work for you. I'll shoot you straight. If you want to hire me, hit me up. But otherwise, we're talking about Vermontijuana events. Ski Can, we've got the Vermont Cannabis Convention in June. That is going to be a huge event. We're really excited for that. And then I'm also going to be having Vermontijuana Collective meetings if people want to talk about growing, getting together like that, and maybe partnering up on some wholesale distribution with other small independent cultivators. My line's open there too. So thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the support. We will see you all soon. Elevate the state. Peace.